Ugh, that toxic voice sounds familiar. Haven't I heard it before in Arum Alley?
You know what? This isn't my first time dealing with the Skyfaring Commission. I can handle your unreasonable ways. But straight up snatching IPC cargo, isn't that going a bit too far?
Just as I've said it many times already. Once we've inspected the cargo and completed the security check, you can be on your way. Is there something wrong with your ears, or is it just your brain?
I'm hearing you loud and clear. I'm thinking clear. And my answer is crystal clear. Not a chance. Keep detaining my cargo, and I'll file a complaint directly with your general. Don't think you can possibly convince me. Huh? Why are you here? Staying on the Cienjo, are you? What terrible luck. Wherever you go, disasters aren't far behind.
Aren't you the guest from the Astral Express? What brings you and Yanqing to the Artisanship Commission?
They're in trouble? No, it's me! I'm the one in trouble!
Looks like you've met this IPC worker before. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. I was sent here to deal with the IPC protest, Miss Shikwe. What's going on here?
As you know, this IPC transport ship was attacked by the Borisin and rescued by the Juming's diplomatic ship. Then the Cloud Knights were instructed to bring it back to the dock for repairs and inspections. And this is Mr. Scott, the person in charge of this transport ship.
So, you're Scott. I've heard him mention you. Weren't you kicked off the Lafu before? Why did you come back?
Like I wanted to come back. I thought I'd just dock at the harbor for repairs and leave this forsaken place for good. Little did I know, as soon as the ship entered the harbor, a bunch of Cloud Knights showed up and snatched all our cargo from the hold.
What do you mean by snatched? I've told you 1,000,000 times. It's a security check.
Then why did you bring the cargo to the Artisanship Commission? You even brought in some shady craftsmen. It's obvious you're trying to steal the IPC's patented technology!
Listen here. Firstly, the Skyfaring Commission detected dangerous items that could possibly be weapons in your cargo hold. That's why they called me here, to double-check. Secondly, where the heck did you get the idea that I'm a shady craftsman?
Even if there are dangerous items, what do they have to do with you? It's not even being shipped to the Lafu. We'll just fix the ship and be on our way. We won't unload our cargo here.
But you'll have to stay in the port for several days before your ship is repaired and you can take off again. How can we just leave unchecked items sitting here?
I understand, but we don't need to disassemble the cargo if it's just a security check, right?
In most cases, we don't. However, our scans discovered that the cargo doesn't only contain machinery, but also some substance that resembles biological tissue.
Biological tissue? Does this crate contain living things?
I'm afraid we'll need to wait for the Alchemy Commission for further confirmation. In any case, according to our regulations, we need to unseal one of the crates for further examination. This IPC specialist has been hindering us on the grounds of patent secrecy.
The Alliance's regulations on biological products are very strict. Without further inspection, there is no way for the Skyfaring Commission to release the cargo.
Oh, really? Fine! If anyone lays a finger on that shipment, they'll have me to deal with. It doesn't matter if it's mechanical or biological. It's none of your business. I'm filing a complaint against the Skyfaring Commission's ridiculous regulations.
This Mr. Scott seems stubborn and difficult to persuade. Honestly, I really don't want to have a vicious confrontation with the IPC. I heard how you helped Arum Alley. The IPC representative back then was Mr. Scott, right? Since you've dealt with him before, It looks like I'll have to rely on you again.
What are you guys whispering about over there? Just hurry up and give us back our cargo.
As I recall, this guy won't listen to reason and can only be persuaded with intimidation. But he does seem to follow rules to some extent. Let's use that against him.
Speaking of regulations, we have our own laws and regulations too. According to Article 4 of the Cienjo Alliance IPC Trade Consensus, the Alliance and IPC shall never infringe on each other's intellectual property rights.
The Alliance can sign a non-disclosure agreement with you. That way, you won't have to worry about any infringements, right?
We can sign a mutually acceptable non-disclosure agreement in accordance with the IPC's rules.
Well, that makes sense, but how can we trust you to honor the terms? Even if we set aside the secrecy of intellectual property, these prototypes built by the Intelligentsia Guild are incredibly valuable, beyond your wildest imagination. If anything goes wrong, you won't be able to pay for it even with your lives.
Can you give us an exact amount, Mr. Scott? If there's any damage after the inspection, the the Skyfaring Commission will compensate you.
The Skyfaring Commission. Yeah, they will compensate you, provided a detailed report of the damage is submitted.
I don't doubt the financial strength of the Skyfaring Commission. However, this is not just about money. Besides, the cargo on this transport vessel belongs to the Intelligentsia Guild. If you want to inspect the cargo, shouldn't you at least call in a member of the Intelligentsia Guild to be present?
According to the principle of territoriality, since your vessel is stranded on the Cienjo, the Skyfaring Commission has the right to inspect it.
Indeed. According to Article 27 of the Cienjo Legal Code, all official and private goods upon entering the port shall be subject to inspection. Failure to submit to such inspection shall be deemed equivalent to the possession of unlawful items and shall be subject to legal ramifications.
Huh? My synesthesia beacon must not be working, because I have no idea what you just said.
Simply put, if you insist on hindering the inspection, we'll have to treat the cargo as unlawful items and confiscate it.
Confiscate it? How can you Cienjo people be so unreasonable?
If this were pure point and incoming cargo posed a safety risk, the IPC would take it in for containment and disposal, correct?
That's true, but the IPC sometimes makes exceptions. For example, they've always given special terms to Cienjo vessels. Well, you guys sure know how to argue your case. Fine, I'll allow you to do the security inspection. It's just that, I need some time to sort things out. This is a big deal. Let me talk to headquarters first.
So, Mr. Scott, are you just stalling for time and planning to leave the Cienjo as soon as your ship is repaired? To avoid the Skyfaring Commission's inspection?
Well, IPC staff are free to come and go, as long as they don't break any laws.
Yeah, you've got some insight there. Who are you again?
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lingsha, Cauldron Master and head of the Alchemy Commission on the Lawfu.
Could she be?
Yeah, she's the new Cauldron Master assigned here from the Cienjo Juming.
I received a report from the Artisanship Commission about cargo containing samples of unknown organisms. It said they needed help from the Alchemy Commission. I had nothing better to do, so I came myself. It's fine, Mr. Scott. If you really don't want your cargo to be inspected, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter? How can you say that?
Why are you being so nice all of a sudden? Well, since you're not going to check it, I'll take this crate and be on my way. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah, sure. Why should I object? Not only this sample, but all the goods on the transport ship are yours to keep. Like I said, we won't inspect them.
Wait a minute!
Well, that's more like it. If only the young displayed a more reasonable attitude, we could have sidestepped that altercation just now. Our ship will leave in a few days once the engines are repaired.
Your ship can leave whenever you want, but I'm afraid I can't say the same for your cargo. According to the import and export regulation signed between the Xianzhou and IPC, all biological shipments can only leave the port when they have confirmed to be of no threat, or when all biological activity expires. Since we can't determine if your shipment is safe for the environment, I guess we'll have to wait for its biological activity to expire. Let me check the previous cases. Normally, it'll only take around 47 star calendar years.
Only 47 years?
Why so surprised? You're still young and full of energy. I'm pretty sure you'll live a few more decades. Have some confidence in yourself.
Ha! Typical of a long-life species. Your words are dripping with sarcasm. While you may not care about time, I do. I'll be demanding double compensation from the Skyfaring Commission for every minute wasted.
Sure thing, Mr. Scott. You seem pretty confident that your career and life will last long enough to witness this victory unfold.
Step aside, guys. Let them do the inspection.
But, Mr. Scott...
Come on, we're already in enough trouble. Just let them do the security inspection. And if needed, I can always grovel before the Intelligentsia Guild later. I'm just using my head for what it's apparently good for, right? Well, honestly, at least you're not as annoying as that woman.
But you're still as annoying as ever.
This lady is really something else. Is this the IPC product?
Listen up. Any damages caused by inspections will be filed with the IPC!
Turn it off! Oh, how unexpected. That was a surprise.
Savor it for me.
Converge and awaken!
Detecting pride. Too little. Armor damage.
Blade of Moonlight. In lunar flame.
Failed to send you. Get that!
Human creations!
Your end approaches. Failed to send you. Fiends or devils. I'll crush them all. Savor it for me.
in lunar flame.
Were you seriously planning to leave this stuff unchecked at the dock for days? That's way too dangerous.
I had no idea about it. You must have accidentally triggered the cargo's defense program.
I don't think trying to shift the blame is a wise choice.
But seriously, I don't know why that thing suddenly started moving. I swear on the Amber Lord.
Enough. Miss Shikwe, please escort our IPC guests to the Skyfaring Commission.
I'm on it. Please follow me, Mr. Scott.
Gentlemen, our preliminary inspection shows that there is indeed hidden biological tissues inside. Just like the craftsman feared. I can't even tell if it's ingenium or biological in nature.
The core of this device is what they call wetware in industry slang. To put it simply, this machine operates with a kind of biological nerve as its control center.
I'll take some samples for the alchemist to analyze and figure out where the biological tissue comes from.
Why would the Intelligentsia Guild use such unethical technology? Perhaps they're trying to create a new weapon?
Whatever the reason is, it's probably why the Borison attacked the ship. No wonder the IPC were trying to obstruct our inspection. I'll contact the Ten Lords Commission and ask the judges to come and give their final verdict on this. According to our rules, all prisoners and weapons involving dangerous creatures must be taken to the shackling prison for further sentencing. After all, it's the safest place on the Luofu. As for you, Mr. Craftsman, please go with the Cloud Knights and explain the situation to the judge. I had a feeling that the IPC members would cause trouble, but I didn't think they'd be this tricky. Thanks for your help, Miss Linksha.
I should thank you for saving my life. Your sword skills were impressive. Taking down that big guy. I thought the General's retainers were all burly martial masters. I didn't expect Yenching to be so... Yeah, exactly. He's young and talented. As for you, you must be the guests from the Astral Express, right? Saving the Luofu from that crisis. It's so impressive. It wasn't a big deal. Really. It's still early, so why don't we get some tea at the Alchemy Commission? We can discuss your suggestions for revitalizing the commission.
I'd be happy to accept your invitation.
And you three are coming too, right?
You're back! Why didn't you say anything in the group chat? I'm on duty. Let's catch up later. Cut it out. I'm carrying out my sacred duty. Stop hanging around here and find something better to do. Once I'm done in a few days, call up Lil Gui and Huahua, and let's grab a meal at Aurum Alley. It's been ages since we hung out. Goodbye.
I'm here to pay my respects to the new Cauldron Master.
All these years, and the view at the Alchemy Commission hasn't changed a bit. The The tides come and go, but the ancient sea remains the same. For us Vidyadhara, there's nothing more nostalgic than our homeland.
You're a Lofu native, Miss Lingsha?
Yes, I grew up here, listening to the sound of waves while researching prescriptions with my mentors and peers at the Alchemy Commission. It's kind of sad, isn't it? Everything changes, but somehow remains familiar. Just like you, Don Hung, I traveled far from home, and now I've returned. Seeing the familiar scenery brings back a hint of nostalgia.
The view here would be even better without the ambrosial arbor.
Oh, really? I think that towering tree looks pretty impressive.
Even if it's impressive, it's a plague mark. The Xianzhou have been fighting abominations for thousands of years. And now that the ambrosial arbor has been reborn, it's only natural for everyone to feel uneasy.
Well, once a seed is planted, no matter how long it takes, it'll eventually sprout and bear fruit. In my humble opinion, the rebirth of the ambrosial arbor and the resurgence of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were inevitable. The seed was already planted when the ancestors of the Xianzhou sought immortality. My bad. Well, since you went through the entire ambrosial arbor crisis firsthand, Dan Heng and Lieutenant Yanqing, I'd like to discuss something with you.
What would you like to discuss, Miss Lingsha?
I was lucky enough to be chosen by the Alliance to come in and clean up all the old grime in the Alchemy Commission. Honestly, the Alchemy Commission is riddled with problems and has reached a point where fixing it seems impossible. I'm looking to remedy this problem, but was wondering if you could provide any insights.
Well, even though I'm a Vidyadharan like you, I'm an outsider, just like my companions here. I can't really say much about a remedy, but I do have a piece of advice, Miss Lingsha. The Vidyadhara and the Alchemy Commission on the Luofu have always been intricately connected. If you cannot distance yourself from these ties, Miss Lingsha, changing the situation within the Alchemy Commission may be quite challenging.
I may not know about politics, but I do know that the disciples of Sanctus Medicus have been operating within the Alchemy Commission for years. If you're determined to root them out, maybe you should discuss it with the General.
I see. Thank you for your valuable insights. While the Lux Arrow from the Rainbow possesses unparalleled power to sever the ambrosial arbor, it can't sever mortals' desire to prolong their existence. Just like how the Cloud Knights can eliminate the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but are unable to calm the hearts and minds of the people within the Alchemy Commission. Our Xianzhou forebears knew this well, and that's why they entrusted the duty of guarding the roots of the arbor to the Vidyadhara. However, the Vidyadhara are still only mortal beings. 30 years ago, my mentor served as Alchemy Commission's Cauldron Master. She recognized the emerging undercurrents and sought to cleanse the source of the disturbance. Unfortunately, even though she was skilled in the art of healing, she didn't understand the human heart or how to eliminate the sickness lurking within the depths of the Alchemy Commission. In the end, she was framed and exiled to the Juming. I was also implicated and had to leave the Luofu. And guess who arbitrated the case and handed down the sentence? None other than General Jing Yuan himself.
What?
You heard it right. The ones responsible for the corruption in the Alchemy Commission are not just the remnants of the disciples of Sanctus Medicus, but even the Divine Foresight himself. Alas, why is your face turning pale, Yanqing? Don't worry about it. I understand that when someone holds a position of power, they may sometimes have to make tough decisions. I won't hold any personal grudges against him. Besides, at our age, holding personal grudges is a luxury we can't afford.
Lingsha, you're back! Ugh, I've been waiting ages for you.
Yunli! Why aren't you with your grandpa? What brings you to the Alchemy Commission? Well, let me take this opportunity to introduce you to Yanqing.
What a small world. You stole my sword! Give it back!
I see. Let's skip the introduction part then.
Why do I keep bumping into you? Are you stalking me or something?
Of course not. Unlike you, Miss Yunli, I have important things to take care of. You, on the other hand, seem to have all the time in the world to wander around without returning my sword.
Grandpa used to say that a sword reflects its master. I talked to your sword, and it told me that you've been distracted. You hesitate when you should strike, and you struggle to stay calm when your sword is unsheathed. Now that I see you again, I realize your sword was right. It wasn't me who took your sword. It was you who lost focus.
Do you really expect me to believe that nonsense? I've been taking it easy on you because you're a guest from the Juming, but you're not taking the hint. Don't people from the Juming know you're supposed to return what you've borrowed?
Just look at this flying sword. Even if I gave it back to you now, it'd just be taken away again in a few hours. You know the Cloud Knight saying, a Cloud Knight must never let slip their weapon. Yes? Well, sure, I can give it back to you now, but on the battlefield, that's a whole different story. Poor flying sword.
Fine! You don't have to give it back, because I'll take it back myself!
But which general should I call?
Between these two, who do you think is tougher? Don't get me wrong, I'm just curious.
It is my first day at the Alchemy Commission. A brawl is definitely not how I imagine celebrating it.
Well, since you don't approve, I won't draw my sword here.
I didn't mean it in that way. Since you've already drawn your swords, you'd be disappointed if you didn't get to test one another, right? I've received reports that the delves near the Alchemy Commission are still infested with abominations. Seems like my predecessors left quite a mess. So, if you two want to determine who's better, why not focus on them instead of each other?
Clearing out some abominations? Sounds boring.
It's the Cloud Knight's duty to eliminate those abominations. You don't have to ask me twice, Miss Lingsha. I'll help you get rid of them.
Oh, you think you're the only one who knows how to behave? If Lingsha needs anything, I'll gladly draw my sword and help her out.
It's so heartwarming to see both of you being so sweet and caring. So then, shall we get going? Ever since the disciples of Sanctus Medicus were eradicated, their experimental abominations have been festering here. If you want a contest, I'll be the referee. The one who kills the most abominations within an hour wins.
Lingsha, as always. You're still an expert in making unpaid work sound so noble and grand.
It's for your own good, little Yunli. While you desire to compete against each other, I don't want to see either of you getting hurt.
That's really thoughtful of you, Cauldron Master.
So, are you both ready? Ugh. Looks like my predecessors left. Let me say it again. The one who kills the most abominations within an hour wins. Be careful when you draw your swords, and make sure you don't hurt each other.
Can we start now, Lingsha?
Time for swordplay! Strike with heart!
Tedious.
I see through you. Together as one.
A blade knows no mercy.
How many can you block? She wields her sword with ease. Shouldn't underestimate her.
Blade of moonlight.
A quick divination.
Blade and flight!
The fight is set. Fail to send you.
All things in this world have human creations.
All will be revealed. In lunar flame.
I won't lose to you when it comes to swordplay.
Ready for death.
Fail to send you.
Practice is over. Swords descend!
No matter.
You impede me. That paradise may be. Savor it for me.
Converge and awaken.
Time for swordplay!
Stand down.
A one-time enemy!
Down to earth.
I will dispatch you.
Tedious. Blade of moonlight.
How many can you block? Blade and flight!
Nowhere to run. All will be revealed. In lunar flame.
Fail to send you.
I win, Miss Yunli!
You got lucky.
Why don't you just give me back my sword, sincerely apologize, and then go cry your eyes out to your grandpa? Consider yourself lucky that I'm not interested in your rusty sword, as I don't have the nasty habit of snatching other people's weapons.
All you did was chop down a few monsters. Don't get carried away with yourself. If you think you can just take this sword from my hand, go ahead and try.
my young friends. However, both of you have shortcomings. One of you focuses on dodging and weaving, while the other relies on brute strength, trying to take down targets with a single strike.
Who are you?
Me? I'm just a patient seeking medicine from the Alchemy Commission. A passerby, if you will. I thought I'd see my fill of impressive fights during the war dance. Yet here I am, able to witness a remarkable fight at the Alchemy Commission, of all places. Well, the Lawfu is never short of surprises. However, I have a small suggestion for you. Why don't you settle this dispute fair and square in the war dance's ring? That way, you can resolve your differences with a proper duel and put your grudges behind you.
Grudges? No, not at all. Yunli and I, we were just sparring.
Sparring? You summoned your flying swords and she swung her sword with full strength. No grudges between you. I don't believe it.
Aha! What brings you here, Lady Fei Xiao? Have you finished your health consultation with the Dragon Lady?
Fei Xiao? Grandpa always talks about you. Could it be that you are...
The Merlin's Claw of the Xianzhou Yaoqing?
Looks like I'm quite famous on the Xianzhou Lawfu, too.
Of course. Everyone has heard of the great general. Known to all, and unbeknown to none.
Great General? Isn't that title a bit too narcissistic? I don't like it. Ooh, I heard there's a dozing general on the Lawfu, so I came up with a humble nickname for myself. The Lacking General. Lacking in worries, regrets, and rivals. Sounds much better, right?
Yeah, that's a befitting title that sounds both humble and impressive. Now that the sparring session is over, Yanqing and Yunli, shouldn't you politely thank General Fei Xiao for her guidance and bury the hatchet?
Here's your sword. Keep it safe. Or it might get taken away again. By the way, we haven't settled the score yet. I'll defeat you fair and square next time we fight.
This is how she apologizes? Now that I finally got my sword back, I should report to the seat of divine foresight. I'll take my leave, General Fei Xiao. Oh, by the way, Miss Linksha, if you've got some free time, I'd like to invite you to the seat of divine foresight for a chat with General Jing Yuan. I think there's more to those personal grudges you mentioned earlier.
Thanks for stepping in, General Fei Xiao. Otherwise, I'd have had to knock them out with my incense.
Not at all. Just doing what you asked. How about we call it even as payment for the healer lady's consultation?
Sorry, but even a general needs to pay their bills. We don't do credit here. And let's not forget, you'd have been waiting decades for a chance to see the Dragon Lady if it weren't for me.
Well, you can always send the bill to the seat of divine foresight and say it's for mentoring those kids. After all, it was quite the effort splitting them up. I nearly had to get tough. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to find a spot and get some fresh air. Back already? You've met with Jing Yuan and wandered around for a few hours. So, what do you think?
It appears that the Divine Foresight is using this war dance as a show of strength to convince everyone that the Luofu is prospering after the Ambrosial Arbor crisis.
But... I know you're going to say but, right?
But the influx of people attending the war dance is like a breeding ground for disorder and rumors. One wrong move, and the Luofu could be in a world of chaos.
The Cloud Knights on the streets remain vigilant, so at the very least, General Jing Yuan is aware of this. As for other matters, I'm unable to say.
I'd prefer to be excused from future meetings with generals. I'm just a military healer. And now all of a sudden I'm thrust onto the center stage having cordial chats with two generals?
My work doesn't lend itself to being in the limelight either.
Just stop whining. At least you're in one piece, right? Before getting in touch with General Jing Yuan, I wanted to put aside my assumptions and see his momentum. That includes the overall bearing of the Cloud Knights on the street, what people are saying, and how those close to him behave.
The might of an army dwells not within its pawns, but within the force of its collective momentum. Recognizing this fact reveals the true measure of power. Thanks for enlightening me, General.
A perfectly clear statement turned confusing thanks to your translation. You've made me lose where I was now. Anyway, this is how I operate in battle, so you might as well get used to it.
Are you treating General Jing Yuan as your enemy?
The longest-serving general of the Xianzhou Luofu. Do you think he'd have only a few enemies?
By the way, General, you met the healer lady, yes? Could you show me the medicine she prescribed you?
Well, the healer lady couldn't do anything about my condition. She just told me to enjoy some tasty food.
So not even the famed healer lady could help? Don't worry. I'll fulfill my promise and find a way to cure you. Actually, I've found some leads.
Well, life and death, Jiao Zhou. It's all predetermined. Upon starting my military career, I made a pledge that the rest of my life would be dedicated to being the Xianzhou's spearhead, hunting down the abominations of abundance till the end of my days. As long as I can fulfill that deep-seated desire, I don't care how long I live. You asked if I view General Jing Yuan as my enemy. No. My real enemy has always been myself.
Enjoy some tasty food. So, what's for dinner tonight?
Jeez. You really know how to read the room, don't you?
You guys figure it out for yourselves. I'm due to catch up with an old war friend I've not seen for quite a long time.
Hey! Was that the Yaoqing general who just dropped in out of nowhere? Oh, she's so awesome! I mean, when Yun Li swung that massive sword, she just casually blocked her attack with ease.
Mine too.
Yeah. But to go up against Yun Li is quite impressive, you know? That aura of heroism and grace, it almost makes me want to learn Xianzhou swordplay. You think so too, right?
I agree. General Fei Xiao is indeed impressive.
I was talking about Yenqing, actually.
Thanks for the kind words, Miss March. The war dance is coming up, and I've been chosen to represent the Cloud Knights in the ceremony. I've had my fair share of defeats lately, and even though I know there are always more skilled swordmasters out there, seeing General Fei Xiao's skills today has made me feel a bit uneasy again.
Don't underestimate yourself. After all, generals won't fight in the ring during the war dance. Just remember the state of mind you had when you single-handedly took on me and Blade, putting life and death aside. With that mindset, you can prevail against most challengers.
I see. Thanks for the advice, Master Danheng. By the way, now that today's events are over, General Jing Yuan wants to invite all of you to the Seat of Divine Foresight. He has something important to discuss.
I bet it's about how to deal with the generals from the Yao Qing and the Zhu Ming.
I really don't want to get caught up in grown-up games so soon. I just hope Generals Fei Xiao and Huaiyan can see the truth. We don't need any more chaos on the Luofu before the war dance.